Well, I finally have the thing in my car installed, and it is kind of a wonder that it took me this long to get everything added, but you know, it's finally here. I never knew, you know, it makes things a whole lot easier because now you can actually see what I'm doing and what's going on, and it doesn't have to be like a big pain in the butt process to film my car talks. So that's pretty epic that I have a new shot. I never have to worry about it falling down or anything. I'm just gonna have to stay focused on the road, and I won't have to worry about what's going on around me, which is pretty nice, pretty cool, you know. I mean, I don't like before I was having to like hold up the phone or do a lot of other stuff with the phone, and while it was raining and stuff, you know, it got to be potentially dangerous, you know, trying to manage all the filming and all the different stuff. But now, you know, I won't have to worry about that anymore, so it makes things a whole lot easier. I am gonna have to reposition it some and get used to like whatever position is best for filming, but at least for now, things seem to be okay with it. Like, it's not really totally hindering me or anything like that. I'm able to do things all right. My dad recommended me put it not on the dashboard because sometimes it's a pain to get it off the dashboard, but I may end up doing it on the dashboard just because it's easier to have and hold, and it's not, you know, right next to me, causing me some trouble while I'm trying to do stuff in the car. But for the most part, I think it's going well, and the phone holder is a good holder. My hair's kind of a mess right now. I had a work shift this morning, so I've already worked and already done anything. I just got some food in me, some corn, some mashed potatoes, a lot of chicken, so a good meal of leftovers. It was a really late lunch, but now I'm fueled up and ready to get into the gym, get into Planet Fitness. I might be meeting some of my friends there. I'm not exactly sure. I hear a car alarm in the distance. I was concerned that was something going off in my car. But yeah, I might meet some of my coworkers and stuff in the gym. I don't know, or not my coworkers, just some of my friends, people I talk to, but yeah, some people I know go to the Planet Fitness, but we haven't really met up at a good time together. But now we might be meeting up at a good time. Today is back in Biceps, so got a lot of good pump plan. Afterwards, I'm going out with my family to eat, even though I kind of just ate. I haven't, you know, been able to spend a lot of time with my family lately with a bunch of busy work stuff, and I'm trying to make that a priority, especially as I get ready to go to college. You know, it's very important to me about seeing my family and everything, but it just a lot has been happening lately. So yeah, it's been kind of busy lately, but I'm hoping that a good lift will help take my mind off some things. I'm in a much better mood from my lift yesterday. I don't know what kind of weird headspace I was in, but it was really bumming me out, and I hadn't felt like that in a while. But you know, feeling it was kind of refreshing because it helped me see, like, I felt a lot of that sadness and like existentialism and bad mood, you know, type of lifts a lot when I was really on social media. Like, I would feed into a lot of that content and stuff that really bummed me out. And so I felt like that bad mood that I made the video about yesterday, I felt that a lot more powerfully, a lot more often than I do now, which was, it was kind of a weird sensation to me. But now, like, getting to experience that, it kind of helped me like acknowledge the fact that is, you know, I've drifted away from that, and feeling it was like, wow, this sucks. I didn't realize how bad this was before, after I went on a long break from it. But yeah, I'm just feeling pretty newly motivated and pretty newly empowered by a lot of what I've been doing lately, and a lot of what I've been like seeing and noticing. I've been a lot more mindful about stuff, and it really has been feeling like stuff has been paying off. what I've been doing is like started to pay off a lot more for me. So yeah, that is basically what's been going on. I don't have a lot to talk about today, and recently I had been kind of padding out a lot of my car talks, so I'm just gonna end the car talk right here, as it's raining, and I'll cut to when I'm in the gym. Okay, so I'm trying something different today. I'm currently editing the video as I'm just starting my workout, and I'm going to narrate over what I'm doing, just talk about, how the lift went a little bit, because today I didn't really record myself talking that much. Just in the middle of the lift, I wasn't actively trying to talk to the camera as much, which I do in a bunch of other lifts, but right there I was doing, currently I'm doing a bunch of lat pull downs, and for the most part these went pretty good. You can see my back starts to flail down a little bit. I was trying to limit that as much as possible as I was pulling down. Like, I wasn't trying to use momentum to move the weight, but I was doing a little bit more weight than I was used to, so my back just naturally started doing that a little bit. But good form is not using momentum to pull the weight all the way down, so you shouldn't really do that if you're trying to get optimal lifting stuff in. At the end especially, it got kind of bad, as you can see, because I was trying to I went up in weight a little bit because it was a little easy, and then I just, for the most part, I kept it good until the last couple of reps, and then that was that full movement. And then next, you can see here it's long cables, and it was kind of awkward for me. I was trying to get used to it. You saw I backed up a little bit, trying to get everything. I was trying to get the cables straight in front of my body so I could do it like a regular lateral raise. But the cable lateral raises have been really good for me lately. But yeah, I was just trying to pull as high as I could, but the long cable, it was a little bit harder to balance with my arms. I couldn't keep it completely straight all the time, and I had to back up again. On a lot of these I had to back up just because I kept jacking up where I was standing. But for the most part, I was able to do these easily and not really much momentum. I was pretty happy with how these went, and looking back at the footage, I'm still pretty happy with how everything went. Looking at the footage, it makes it a little easier for me to see what I'm doing wrong and what I'm swinging with momentum. The lat pull downs, I definitely used too much momentum when I was looking back at the footage, and I'm going to have to change it next time. But for these, I was doing pretty well, all in all. And, it was just pretty average lift, but I was trying to, you can see me working hard. I'm really trying to grind out a couple of these last reps just because I want to grow my shoulders as much as possible. Shoulders are definitely a weak point for me, and so that's why you can see a lot of times I'll struggle with this lift. And now my back's turned, so you can't really see it as much, but I definitely still struggle with right arm as well as left. Sorry for the voice crack. But yeah, both of them both of my shoulders are just kind of I feel like they limit me. I have really strong triceps genetically, and then I feel my traps are pretty easy to grow. Biceps take a little more effort, but shoulders take probably the most effort. Naturally, my chest is fairly easy to grow. It doesn't get very huge. Oh, I almost lost my balance there. It doesn't get huge, but it still grows, and it still has a lot of power contained in it. I'm just not the type of physique that'll have massive just chesticles. I'm just gonna have a basic chest, and you can see I went to a failure there on this last rep. I was doing so much pulling, I didn't want to tire out my shoulders for any of the other back stuff I was doing. I mean, you don't really use that shoulders that much unless you're on a push day, but still, I wasn't trying to pre-exhaust a bunch of my arms and stuff because I still had a whole lift ahead of me. But yeah, I don't know why I flipped it the opposite way this time, where I went the back first, but I guess my arms were just tired. And you can see my facial expression. I'm really trying to grind out like the last couple reps. I think I did like maybe like 8 reps or something, and then I went to failure, and then I went back and I completed it for both parts, just so I could get that full 10 reps, because the full 10 reps is what my plan called for. But now I'm transitioning. I was supposed to do like chest supported rows, but Planet Fitness doesn't have a chest supported row machine, so I was trying something new. Instead of doing like the one silver cable that kind of just has a wide grip but that is like close together, I took 2 of those cables, the small cables. You can see it behind the machine, like the cable right above my head. 2 of those small cables, and then I was just pulling them just straight out, trying to get a good stretch on my back. And I had never used this type of machine before, so the first time I did it, I put my feet on those 2 things to the side of like my hips or my butt, where it's like the wide feet, and then I did it there's one behind it you can't really see. It's like a close feet grip. There it is. You see like the square pad. And that's where I decided to put my feet for the rest of the lift. It's pretty busy in here today. Next I'm going to move on to biceps. Put some stress off my back. Okay, so now I move on to, sorry, I'm adjusting my mic. Now I move on to biceps in the lift. Starting off, the settings were kind of jacked up from me to another person, so I was trying to get used to what the right settings were again. And then I started in trying to adjust what weight felt the best, and how to just optimally be able to lift and get everything working right. And as you can see, I kind of got it working right, but I was lifting up a little bit, and then I wasn't fully extending my arms, so I had to readjust the seating and everything to where I actually was like fully extending my arms, and I was fully getting like the stretch on the movement, instead of just cheating the rep, because I didn't want to cheat the rep. But the problem with like the Planet Fitness machine is that there's like a thin line between not getting the full stretch, and then like just dropping the weight and then having it clang, and then everyone gets mad at you, and then the lunk alarm goes off, and I get blown up and kicked out of Planet Fitness. No, nothing that severe, but as you can see, I was working hard here trying to get everything moving, and then I finally got to a place where I was getting full extension, and I was able to get the full reps in. Biceps are starting to feel the pump. Honestly, my back pretty much tanked everything else, but my biceps really started to feel it compared to everything else. So yeah, so like I just said, like my back, just because it's so much of a bigger muscle, it doesn't really feel as bothered or as hurt when I'm doing a bunch of movements. Like I have to get about 3 movements to really feel, or like targeting something specific, like with rear delt rows, to really feel a bunch of soreness and stretch in my back, which I know isn't a bad thing. It's just like the size of it. I mean, the size of my biceps compared to my back, it's just night and day size comparison. But so biceps, it doesn't take as many movements to get them fully like stretched out and fully grown. And like right here, I was just I mean, I had like a 10 extra pound with that little knob there to try and blow up my size a little bit, but it was just hurting so bad that I had to keep readjusting until I could hit a weight where I was just able to get a lot of burnout reps. I kind of laddered down at the end, and you could look at my face. It's total like lifter, not attractive face, trying to blow everything up. Did a little ladder there at the end, really get my biceps pumped up, get them big. Okay, so now the next thing, like the last thing I started working on with this lift was the crap, I always forget this name. I did this with the lift, I think, on day 24, where I couldn't remember what it was in the car talk. The rear delt rows. I don't know why I always forget what they're called. But this used to be one of my favorite lifts, but recently, man, it has been hurting. You can see I'm trying to fully get the stretch, but it's just like so hard. Like I'm at the 65, so I'm moving up in weight, and I'm just at this point where it's starting to get more hard than fun, which, I mean, yeah, you can see my expression. I'm not really jazzed about, my performance and everything with it, just because I'm trying to like lift so high, but my arms can't get up past a certain point just with how heavy it is, and that's kind of something that I was struggling with, and I don't even know if I got full reps on some of these just because like I'm trying so hard. Yeah, I took a break here to try and readjust myself, try to get my rear delts activated and like ready to pull again, but it's just hard trying to like get them up all the way and adjust my feet. Yeah, I failed that last rep, so I didn't even get a full 10, but I mean, I was working really hard at it, trying to get as much as I possibly could. It was just, it was just killing me, taxing me. I was adjusting my feet here, and I think this last one I ended up getting all 10 because I made sure to like brace my back and really set myself up. And also before this, I cut it out because there's no content, but I took a longer like rest period / break thing in order to be able to pull up all the way more effectively and have more strength to crank out all the reps. I still had to take like a tiny break there, but I got it up all the way. It is raining outside, but that was a pretty good lift, if I do say so myself. We got a good lift in today, boys. We were back in the car now, and the lift, what did we do? Well, we did everything except abs and pull-ups. double gasp. Well, I'm saying boys, but I'm trying to forget. Like, a lot of my audience, it says on YouTube, is mostly made up of dudes, but I also understand that there's a small little dudette population watching my videos. So good on you if you are a girl out there watching this, getting into the fitness YouTube niche, which has primarily been dominated by guys lately. I'll talk about that in a little bit, but I'm getting off track of what the lift was about. But mainly what I did today was all the stuff that wasn't abs. And abs you don't necessarily have to train, because most of abs are made up in the kitchen. So if you want visible abs, you need to just focus on what you're eating. But if you want usable abs, and you want your abs to pop out just that little bit extra, you do need to train them a little bit, which that is why I've been training abs for over a year now, because I just wanted to see where it would go, and I feel like they are a lot more visible combined with my cut, and I feel like having a bunch of usable abs has been really helpful to me. Really, I don't know, I just like training abs. I like doing stuff with abs. But yeah, I didn't do abs today because I didn't have time, and abs is probably the first thing I cut out of my workouts, just because of that fact that you don't always have to train them. But that being said, the pull-ups is a different story, because pull-ups do help you, but Planet Fitness doesn't have a good pull-up machine, and looking at all the other back work, I figured I could get a pretty decent back pump without pull-ups this time. So that is just what I ended up doing. I just ended up going without the pull-ups, which is not always the best, because pull-ups all around are a great way to strengthen your arms, muscles in your back, your stability. They get you a lot of great stuff within pull-ups, but I did mostly specifically targeted back stuff today, combined with my normal bicep curl. And then I might do, I forgot I was supposed to do the Bayesian, where it's just a single arm curl for each one, but I didn't really have enough time to focus on like a singular arm movement. for both arms, other than my cable lateral raises, but I didn't really have time for 2, and I just low-key forgot like about how I wanted to target more of my bicep with those single arms today. I forgot I had that in my plan. I forgot to look at it before I went to the bicep machine, so that's how that kind of shaked out. But yeah, earlier I was saying, there's not a lot of girls in the online like video fitness niche. Like, I know, okay, maybe that's a bad statement to make because I'm not truly knowledgeable about the entirety of fitness. I just mean like core weightlifting, like really, like it has been male dominated, with like a bunch of meatheads getting into the niche as of late, but not a lot of, aside from like a bunch of CrossFit and yoga and different types of videos, there haven't been a lot of girls breaking into the bodybuilding stuff, except I did the other day. I was finding a lot more females, because there's a lot of girls in the fitness niche. Like, fitness is not like a male or female thing, or even a gender thing at all. It's an everybody, all-encompassing thing. It's just a human thing. But yeah, I feel like it's been dominated by guys, and especially like teenage boys, especially as of late. Maybe that's just because that's what I got to consume a lot, but I also know that like a lot of unrealistic standards have been imposed on girls for years. But then specifically with weightlifting and bodybuilding, there was this shift that I saw when I started getting more into it, where it's like it preys on a lot of the unrealistic standards that guys set on themselves, which I thought was weird and interesting when I saw it. Like all the protein powders and supplements and energy drinks and pre-workout stuff, that all targets guys that are unhappy with their physique or set their sights towards unrealistic physiques. And like that was just a strange thing for me to see, that just this role shift. But also the fact that these companies would target guys and they wouldn't even acknowledge like the women's side of weightlifting, which is crazy to me, because I've known and know a ton of girls who are like into lifting weights and going to the gym and all this like more I'm trying to look for the right word, more like active and aggressive way of taking on the gym. I know tons of women that are like into that, but they don't always get shouted out. So I just feel like I have to say, if you're part of the audience that are girls, like I want you to keep it up with like the women empowerment for gym goers, because I feel like that's an underrepresented community, at least in my eyes, of the gym. Just like, I don't know, I feel like it doesn't get shouted out enough, some of that audience. But I do also know that the stuff that's targeting guys, there's a lot of negative aspects of it, of people promoting unrealistic body standards, which that's just the internet in general. That hits everything, but especially weightlifting wise, it does go after younger, more vulnerable, and sometimes even lonely guys rather than girls. Also, I'm talking from a YouTube state, and YouTube is a lot more biased because like YouTube is made of a primary male audience for most niche. Like overall, more guys are on YouTube and more girls are on like TikTok, and sites like Instagram I think used to be mostly girls, but now it's like an even split. But TikTok and YouTube definitely have like this like staunch difference where it's like dudes versus girls, just because there's specific content that's drawn to each of those things, and there's specific audiences that are attracted by those platforms, which is just interesting to me. Like I've been very outspoken of how I don't really like social media that much, and I think social media has a lot of negative aspects. But I also think that studying that stuff and studying digital like media as a whole and where you get your digital media is super interesting. Like even the bad statistics are really interesting to me, because I want to fight against those things. Like what is the psychology of these platforms? What makes people do the things they do, you know? That's a very interesting and like widely studyable, you know, topic to me. I don't know if it is to some of my audience, but that's something that like really gets me fired up and really gets me engaged, you know? If there was like, I've known about schools and like, you know, there's like homeschool or more like technical schools or more like, or like a rise of self-paced schools where you kind of like, where curriculums aren't, you know, state, like I went to a city school, like a public school, so I just got, you know, like a basic, I don't want to say basic because education is different for everyone, but I got like whatever is considered the traditional standard of like publicly endorsed education, instead of like private institutions or different stuff like that. But I also know there's more schools and education methods popping up where people kind of set their own curriculum and things to learn, and if they're engaged in a topic, they, you know, they're just allowed to, you know, go pursue that rather than being like, all right, here's math and reading and science, like here's a whole list of stuff that you have to do, and it doesn't really matter if you want to do it, it's just something you have to do. But like I've seen a rise in those schools, and at first I didn't get it, but like as I've grown, especially in my last years of high school, I realized like I kind of get the idea of those institutions now, because they get to be hands-on involved and really actually enjoy learning. And I didn't realize that was something that you could really do until I got closer towards the end of my schooling, which is kind of sad if you think about it, because I always pushed myself in school, but I never enjoyed it. But now I'm like at a state in my life where I enjoy learning about new things and I enjoy engaging in things. But it's all because now I have the power of choice. I get to choose what I'm engaged in. And so that's why I think some of those topics are interesting, because it's something I like to choose to learn about. And it's something that actually interests me. It's not just something that's handpicked for me. So that's my little spiel for the day. Hope you enjoyed it. I will see you guys in the next video. For now, I'm going to go eat some dinner. I'm getting into the parking lot to go absolutely destroy some Mexican food. I don't know if I'm gonna have tacos or if I'm gonna have a fajita or maybe something else, but we will see. So thank you guys so much for watching, so much for being involved in the community, so much for everything, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye bye.